Meeting to order at 12:02 p.m. So Territorial Acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge that the SFSS is located on the traditional unceded territories of the Coast Salish peoples, including the Musqueam, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, Coquitlam, and Katzie nations. Unceded means that these territories have never been handed over, sold, or given up by these nations, and we're currently situated on occupied territories. And I know we're calling in from different places, so you can go to nativeland.ca to check whose lands you're on. I think I'm on the Kwantlen and Katzie Wisinek lands and Semyamu. Let me just link this website in the chat so you can check. Okay, so I will move on to roll call of attendance. I will go first. So we have to state our names, pronouns, and any access needs. And access needs are like anything we can do to make you feel comfortable. So I'll go first. I'm Jennifer. My pronouns are she, her, and my access needs are met, but my computer is just a little bit slow when I have Google Meet on. So if you don't hear me say something, or if I lag, just let me know and I can repeat what I said. So at-large representative, Poom.
Hello, my name is Poom. Pronouns are he and his. My access needs are met.
Thank you, Poom. And FCAT rep send his regrets, and education rep Emily.
Hi, my name is Emily. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and all my access needs are met.
Thank you, Emily. Student at large, Emma.
Hi, I'm Emma. My pronouns are she, her, and my access needs are met.
Thank you, Emma. Fiona.
Hello, I'm Fiona. My pronouns are she and her, and my access needs are met.
Thank you, Fiona. Abby.
Hello, my name is Abby. My pronouns are he, him, and my access needs are met.
Thanks, Abby. Yashvir.
Hi, my name is Yashvir. My pronouns are he, him, his, and my access needs are met.
And Ahad.
Yep. Hi, I'm Ahad. My pronouns are he, him, and my access needs are being met.
And lastly, our council rep, Adrian.
Oh, there we go. Hi, my pronouns are she, her, and all my needs are being met at the moment.
And we also have some society staff with us today. Dipti.
Hi, my name is Dipti. Pronouns she, hers, and all my access needs are met.
Thanks, Dipti. Our environment representative is also joining us today, Anuki.
Hi, thanks for having me. My name is Anuki. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and access needs are met.
Thanks, Anuki. I will move on to ratification of regrets. Be it resolved to ratify regrets from Heather Masood. Can I get a mover?
Emily.
Thanks, Emily. Remember, anyone who's an at-large of this committee can move or second a motion. So can I get a seconder?
I can second.
Thanks, Abby. So discussion, I move to amend this motion to add regrets from Karishma Sen. So it would be resolved to ratify regrets from Heather and Karishma. Can I get a seconder for this amendment?
Adrian second.
I guess I could.
Oh, sorry, Abby.
I heard
Sorry,
Adrian first, so I'll put Adrian second. All in favor of this amendment, seeking unanimous consent. So just, oh, Abby, did you have another amendment? Oh, okay, so seeking unanimous consent. So unmute your mic if you dissent. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so the amendment carries. Now we're going back to the main motion as amended, which is be resolved to ratify regrets from Heather Masood and Karishma Sen. All in favor, please, seeking unanimous consent, so please unmute your mic if you dissent. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so motion carries as amended. I'll move on to adoption of the agenda. Be Be it resolved to adopt the agenda as presented. Can I get a mover?
Emerly.
Thanks, Emily. Can I get a seconder?
Adrian.
Thanks, Adrian. So I have an amendment to this as well. I emailed this out, so I will move to amend the agenda to include a new motion, 7.4. 7.4. Be it resolved to approve $120 for gift cards for the SFU Trivia Night event. So can I get a mover for this amendment?
Abby.
Thanks, Abby. Can I get a sec? Oh, wait, no. No, I moved it. So Abby, you would have seconded it. Is that okay? Okay. Here, let me just copy paste the motion in the chat so everyone can see. If you didn't see the email, that's what the motion is. So all in favor of this amendment, seeking unanimous consent. So unmute your mic if you dissent. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So the amendment carries. So now we're going back to the main motion. Be it resolved to adopt the agenda as amended. So all in favor of this motion seeking unanimous consent. So unmute your mic if you dissent. 2, 1. Okay, so the motion carries as amended. Okay, I'm glad we're done with all the amendments. I always hate doing those. Matters arising from the minutes. Be it resolved to receive and file the following minutes. Events 2020 07/17. Can I get a mover?
Emma.
Thanks, Emma. Can I get a seconder?
Abby.
Thank you, Abby. So any discussion? Okay, seeing none, I will move on to a vote. So all in favor seeking unanimous consent? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so the motion carries. Now we'll move on to new business. So 7.1, Vice Chair. Be it resolved to appoint Abhishek Parmar as Vice Chair of the Events Committee. Can I get a mover?
Emerly.
Thanks, Emily. Can I get a seconder?
Fiona.
Adrian. Oh.
I heard Fiona first, so I will say Fiona. Any discussion? So Abby reached out to me and he wanted to be the vice chair. But I realized that anybody can really chair. If you want to chair a meeting, just anyone can really do it. But vice chair, I can delegate my chair tasks to the vice chair as needed. So maybe Abby will chair one of these meetings one day if he wants. It's a great opportunity to get more familiar with Robert's rules. Abby, did you have anything to say?
Yeah, I've got a little bit of experience with kind of knowing the Robert's Rules of Orders, both through the events committee from last year, and then I'm currently the interim secretary for the Political Science Student Union. So I'm generally the person who we end up having to be the go-to for Robert's Rules, how to handle amendments and all that. So I'm looking forward to maybe chairing a meeting in the future.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Abby. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, I will move on to a vote. So all in favor seeking unanimous consent? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Motion carries. Congrats, Abby. You're the vice chair of the events committee. So I will move on. I'm looking forward to seeing you chair this meeting one day. So I will move on to 7.2, annual plan. Okay, this is where I lay down the law. So be it resolved to approve the events committee annual plan. Can I get a mover?
Abby.
Thanks, Abby. Can I get a seconder?
Fiona.
Okay, I heard Fiona first. So Fiona seconds. So discussion. So I hope you've all had a chance to read through the annual plan. I will link it here again. But if you see an event that you're interested in, or like an event idea that you think is really cool, please reach out to me and let me know, because we desperately need help with planning these events. I can't do it on my own, and like, you all signed up to be on this committee for a reason, and it's like a great experience, but you need to be able to put the work in. Sometimes I know it gets busy with exams and assignments, but because you're on this committee, it's really important that you do the work and help us plan these events. So some people have emailed me back with some cool event ideas, but I haven't heard back from some of you as well. So I will be, after this meeting, I will be sending an email and set up like a one-on-one meeting, and ask you like what's the best way to reach you. So in case you're still confused about how the committee runs, I can clarify things for you. Anyone want to say anything else? Maybe Gypsy? Gypsy, did you want to say anything?
No, I think just wanted to add a little bit, because as the committee members, it's our responsibility to come up with new event ideas. If you see some events happening with other universities or hosted by group, or you think this would be a really good addition, please bring it to us.
Mm-hmm. And Dipti is always there to support. So if you have some really great event idea and you're not really sure like how to implement it, just talk to her.
Even silly ideas, just come, we'll brainstorm, we'll see how we can implement that, because some of the times we have seen like, we think the event won't be great, but it turns out as the best event, and we not only want fun events, but we also want some educational events that will add up to students' day-to-day life or their curriculum, so all kinds of events. So no ideas are silly, just bring it forward. And we want everyone to be active, bring events, ideas, and we'll see how we can implement that. So if you think this event looks very cool, I learned this from this event, but I don't know how we can implement, still just bring it to us. And if you don't feel comfortable bringing it to events committee, you can always schedule a meeting with me and we can go from there. And then once we have the solid plan, then we can bring it to the events committee and then get the budget approved and everything.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's a great experience being able to plan an event, because we're all students, and I'm sure like we've heard, oh, SFU doesn't do anything, I wish SFU did this or that. So like, you have the chance to kind of bring these ideas to life, and you can finally be able to like implement an event you've always wanted to see happen at SFU. Even if it's like online right now, I think it's still a great experience. And then like, I started event planning with the events committee last year as well, and I learned a lot. And that's why I want to make everyone fill out these post-event reports, because you can learn from all the work that you put into planning events, and it can really help for your future too. So going over the events annual plan, we will be revising this pretty much like it's an ongoing process. We'll probably revise the events annual plan again next semester, because things are always coming up, people are coming up with new ideas. So when we have a lot of changes that are made to the annual plan, we can bring it back to the committee again, and then we can approve it again, and then send it to the SFSS board, who can just always approve it again. So any further discussion on this motion? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Seeing that. Oh, also remember, you can always type in the chat anything you want to say, or if you want to speak, just type list in the chat, and then that will put you on the list to speak. Go ahead, Emily.
Wait, I'm kind of confused. Didn't last year it just needs to be approved at the committee level, and then we just bring it as an update to board? Like, they don't necessarily have to approve it unless it's like a lot of money, like.
Oh, sorry. So the annual plan, like the annual plan itself with all of the events for the year, has to be approved by the board, but the events themselves don't necessarily have to go to board. So if you have an event idea, you can talk to Dipti or myself about it, And then once you have like a more concrete plan or a budget, then you bring it to the committee. And then you can send updates to the committee as you plan the event. And then the committee would approve it. But that's if it's part of the annual plan, which is approved by the board. Does that kind of make sense?
Can I add something? And I know where Emily's confusion is coming from. So we had to take events to the board for approval. The reason why we had run out of our budget, and so because of the fall kickoff deficit, so that's why we did not have any money left in the events committee budget. So that's why we had to take all the events to the board to approve it. But our new, and how we used to do it before, we just following the same thing. So if we have event ideas, sit with me or Jennifer, and then we brainstorm the plan, have your event plan ready, and know how much budget that event will take. And once you have a budget ready, then you bring it to the events committee, and then we discuss about it and get the budget approved at the committee level. So we don't really have to go to the board. Board only wants to see what events we are planning. So that's the reason why we have this annual plan. So what we have, and this is a policy that events committee chair has to present an annual plan to the board. So that is why we are actually forecasting all the events that we want to do throughout the year and put it into the annual plan and then present it to the board. And then we can visit those all events every month. You can definitely add new events. There is no restriction like that. We will keep adding it to the annual plan. And at the end of the year, then events committee chair has to present what events they have done with the reports to the board. So that is how the procedure is right now. So yeah, all the events will be approved at the events committee.
Yeah, so the annual plan itself is the one that goes to board, and then events are approved at this committee. But every board meeting, I bring an update from this events committee to the board anyway, and then I just say like, oh, this amount was approved at the committee, and then we're planning this event or that event. So yeah. Any further discussion on annual plan? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we will be moving to a vote now. Be it resolved to approve the events committee annual plan. All in favor seeking unanimous consent? 5, 4. Okay, so motion carries. I'll move on to the third motion, or 7.3, which is Jackbox 3. Be it resolved to approve $50 for Jackbox Party Pack 3 for future game nights hosted by the events committee. Can I get a mover?
Abby.
Thanks, Abby. Can I get a seconder?
Fiona.
Oh, thank you, Fiona. So I looked at, for discussion, I looked at the Jackbox Party Packs, and I think whom in the Discord suggested having Party Pack 6, but then I looked at the games and it seemed like Party Pack 6, you needed to know each other, and if we're hosting game nights for like just any SFU student who wants to come, then it might be better to get Party Pack 3, which is like, it has trivia, so you don't necessarily need to know the person that you're playing with. And that's why I chose Jackbox Party Pack 3. And the $50 is just, I added contingency to that because of like tax and like, in case it's in USD, but it shouldn't cost more than $50. Any discussion on this motion? Okay, so Koom, go ahead.
You don't have to know each other in Jackbox 6. Like, I see your anime plays it all the time, and they...
Isn't the game
it's
like...
mostly strangers. No.
Okay. Maybe we can look at purchasing Jackbox 6 again in the future, because I looked at all the online lists and it was like Jackbox 3 and then like 6 and then so on. Like it was ranked with the 3 first because it seems really popular because everyone's heard of like Trivia Murder Party.
But the 6th one has a better murder party.
Really? Okay, we can look into that for a future events committee meeting.
Whenever there's a sale, it's only like $15. So.
Okay, I will look into that. What the website I looked at, it was like Jackbox Party is like $20-something, And then I wanted to be sure that we wouldn't have to like go over with like taxes and other fees, because I've never bought a Jackbox party before, so I don't know what other hidden fees there would be. Hopefully not many. Abby, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just gonna comment on that as well. I really like Jackbox games. We just played it at my friend's birthday. It was great. To comment on the hidden fees, it's just taxes. And I forgot what I was gonna say. I don't think it was important though.
Okay. Fiona, go ahead.
Also about Jackbox games, you can Steam usually has some sales for Jackbox games, so you can actually buy the whole set in a cheaper discounted price. So you just have to watch out for the sales.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that something was on sale. Like when I looked, it was on sale, but I wasn't sure how long the sale was gonna last, so I put it as full price just in case. Any further discussion? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I will move on to a vote. So be it resolved to approve $50 for Jackbox Party Pack 3 for featured game nights hosted by the events committee. Can I, all in favor seeking unanimous consent? Okay, motion carries. I will move on to 7.4, which is the motion about gift cards for SFU Trivia Night. I'll read it out. Be it resolved to approve 120 for gift cards for the SFU Trivia Night event. Can I get a mover?
Abby?
Thanks, Abby. Can I get a seconder?
Fiona.
Thank you, Fiona. So for discussion, basically on the annual plan, you will see it says SFU Trivia Night. So I had this idea of basically it would be like a Kahoot SFU trivia thing where incoming and current students could kind of like guess if facts about SFU were like true or false, and other fun trivia. So like they could guess what the name for that avocado sculpture is, and it would be a fun way to like get new students to learn about SFU. And the gift card, the $120 would be for like a $50 gift card for first place of the Kahoot trivia, and then 25 for second and third. And then I added a 20% contingency in case there were hidden fees, because sometimes with some gift cards you have to like purchase the card and then load money onto it. So that's why the total came up to be $120. Any questions about this event or like where the money is going? Remember, just put list in the chat if you have any discussion. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we will move on to a vote. So I'll read out the motion again. Be it resolved to approve $120 for gift cards for the SFU Trivia Night event. So all in favor seeking unanimous consent? 5, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so motion carries. Now we will move on to discussion item 8.1, food justice webinar. Thanks, Anuki, for being so patient. Do you want to start off the discussion here?
Yeah, sure. So I just had an idea that we could do a food justice event. And this came to me because like I took sociology 326 this summer and I really loved my prof, and the class was on food and social thought. And we talked about like food justice, gentrification, green gentrification, all these different things. And I think like the area my prof studies is food gentrification and like food justice. And I did invite him. I told him about this idea I had, and I said like, I asked him, would you be down to be a guest speaker? And he said he would, and just like keep him updated. So what I was thinking was having it be like a panel event where there could be a panel, and then like maybe breakout rooms, and then the event can end with like takeaways and things that people can do. Yeah, so is that like a good idea, or what do you think?
Okay, thanks, Anuki. Remember to put your name down on the list if you have any questions or thoughts. Personally, I just want to say, like, I think this is a great idea. I know a lot of groups on campus who would probably love attending something like this. We can probably ask some eco-friendly clubs to promote this event with us to help. But yeah, what does everyone else think? Go ahead, Emily.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, and I think we should do more academic-based events. Nuki, could you just explain a little bit about what food gentrification is?
Yeah, do I have to do the little asterisk thing, or can I just?
Oh, we can probably just go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so it includes like supermarketization and basically where like wealthy people might come into like neighborhoods and displace people and like um, break their ties from like their cultural foods or like their like ways that they've been sustaining themselves. It's like a really big topic. It's kind of hard to explain. But yeah, it's like you can see it with like Whole Foods, for example, displacing like maybe cultural businesses and stores. Even community gardens can be detrimental to like marginalized communities, even though we see it as like a good thing. Yeah, and it kind of ties into like green gentrification, which is like one example of green gentrification could be like bike lanes. Like we may think that I feel like I'm like a really bad environment rep here because I'm basically saying like all these things are really bad. But it's true, like a lot of these different things do impact BIPOC and marginalized communities because there's no ethical consumption under capitalism. And as long as we're in a neoliberal state, like all these things are going to be affecting these communities as long as like it's from a top-down perspective, and if like the city's planning it and like we don't really discuss these things with those groups. But yeah, I don't know if I like explained that properly, but yeah.
Okay, I can try explaining a little bit of it. I think I understand what you mean. So it's like how there can be thrift shops or like some Whole Food, like not Whole Foods, but like a farmer's market or whatever in a marginalized community, and people are like, oh, this is so cheap, this is so eco-friendly. So a lot of people go there and like they make it into like more expensive because there's higher demand, and then like perhaps the farmers market turns into a big corporation like Whole Foods, and then like the thrift store becomes like a consignment store or something, and then that just drives up the price of living in that neighborhood. So people who were poor and living there and wanted who could only afford the cheap goods, because the price is driven up, there's the higher cost of living, so they are driven out of their neighborhoods because they can no longer afford to live there, and then like it just changes the entire area so that people just move in, and then that's like gentrification, and like it just drives up the cost of living and like further marginalizes people of color. Is that kind of what you meant?
Yeah, basically. And like I can give one example of one of the studies that we looked at was a Whole Foods case, and there was this marketplace or like a supermarket that was it was like for the Latino community, Latinx, sorry, and it had like all their cultural foods and stuff, and but then like they decided to like take that down and put a Whole Foods there, and then all these like the entire Latinx community couldn't afford it, and like a bunch of like wealthy people moved in and they're like going to this Whole Foods now, but then that community couldn't like afford that food because it's like Whole Foods and it's like so expensive, and like even within the Whole Foods, they were like kind of appropriating their food anyway, but then like driving up the prices for that food, like those like cultural foods. So yeah, it was just like a whole entire mess, and yeah, that was just one case study that we looked at. But
yeah, I think that would be really interesting for people who are interested in these topics and like who might want to take a sociology course in the future, but like it wouldn't fit in their schedule, or like they don't have the dedication or commitment to go through like an entire semester. So like this one-time event could be really educational for people. Go ahead, Emily.
Yeah, I also like that there's no barriers to it, so you don't have to pay to like get educated from this workshop. So I think that's good.
Yeah, so I guess my question is, who would be interested in helping Anuki plan a workshop? Like, oh, Anuki, you can go ahead first.
sorry, yeah, I was also considering like maybe we could do partnering with like Embark or other like groups on campus, or even like we can bring in more guest speakers. It doesn't just have to be like 1 or 2 people, or like 1 or 2 groups. Yeah, and we could like brainstorm more, and I can like yeah, and I asked the question like, should I be coming to like the next couple of meetings and like bringing forth like, how does it work? Like, how do you brainstorm? Do you just do everything on this in this meeting, and or is there like a Google Docs that you can?
Oh, Dipti, you can go ahead.
So Anuki, I would just suggest maybe have an event plan ready and then plan out how you want to conduct those series. Like if you just want to do one-time event, or if you would like to do like monthly, and then once you have it in the event plan, and I'm definitely open to work with you on this. So let me know when you have time. We can schedule a meeting and then plan out, and I can give you some insights as well, like how we can schedule it, what we can support you with, and what help you need as well. We'll look into that, and then once we have a solid event plan ready, then we will present it to the events committee.
Yeah. And just to add on to that, usually we would if we pass a motion on spending money on an event, you would probably have to come back then and like explain like what is the money going towards. So far, I don't think there's a lot of costs associated with the event, unless you want to do some sort of like you want to pay the speakers that you're inviting, or anything else. But like in addition to presenting the event plan to the committee, you would have to like kind of explain if you want us to spend money on this event, like explain where the money is going towards, which can be included in the event plan. So, oh, Dipti, you can go ahead.
Yeah, just wanted to add, like in the event plan, we also have a section for budget, and that's where we explain like, what budget you're looking at and where that will be used, how that will be used.
Oh, actually, Dipti, do you have like an event plan template?
I can make one and forward it to you all.
That would be awesome. Thank you. So is anyone interested in helping out with this event? It could be just like talking to Anuki and brainstorming how this event would look, like how many speakers there would be, like what the marketing would look like, etc. I think it's a great experience if you're interested in planning like a big environment-related event. Adrian, you can go ahead.
Question, I was just wondering, unless I missed it, did you have like a month in mind you were aiming to go for this movie, like September, or?
Yeah, it would be cool to have it in September, or like as soon as possible. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would also be a question for like whoever is going to be a part of planning it. You can like outline like pros and cons of whichever month you choose to plan it for. So would anybody be interested in just like getting in touch with Anuki and like kind of brainstorming some ideas about how this event would work?
I am.
Thanks, Dipti. Oh, thanks, Abby. So, Abby, maybe can you email Anuki or like message her on Discord or Facebook and like set up a time for you guys to brainstorm? So, and if no one else has anything to say for this discussion item, I'll move on, but I'll count down from 5. So if you have something to say, just pop it in the chat and like type list. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I'll move on to the discussion item. Thank you, Anuki, for bringing this to the committee. You don't have to stay for the rest of the meeting. It's just going to be like talking about other events. But thanks for coming in. So I will move on to the next discussion item, which is August events. So let me just relink this event annual plan. As you can see, in August, we have like a food workshop and then trivia night and maybe paint night with Bob Ross. So these are ideas that I had, but it would be really great if some of you could help out with these events. So the food workshop is just me reaching out to an ice cream place and getting an instructor to come in and go on Zoom and teach some students how to make ice cream at home. So basically, if you are a part of planning this event, you would just have to like promote the event and then kind of be there at the event at the Zoom session, and like if anything happens, you would kind of troubleshoot and like moderate to make sure no one's saying bad things on the chat. Like if somebody has a question for the instructor and they don't see it, then you could bring it up to the instructor. It's just very low barrier. So if you want to be a part of this event and like be more involved in the events committee, this is a great one to start with, because you don't really have to, it's not a lot of responsibility, but you get an insight into the event planning process as well. So would anyone be interested in helping out with this event? Oh, thank you, Ahad. So I will get in, oh, that's a lot of people, which is awesome. I will get in touch with the 3 of you after this meeting, and we can set up how to brainstorm from there. Because I put it down as general food workshop, it can be like any kind of food. So I reached out to some bubble tea places and some ice cream places, but if you want to help plan this event, you can maybe reach out to other cool food places and see if they would be interested in hosting a workshop for attendees. So it looks like a lot of people are interested in this event. So I will email you all separately after, and we can go from there. So the second August event is SFU Trivia Nights. So this one is a little bit more work because it's basically you get to come up with some SFU trivia questions. You make a Kahoot, and then you would work with Dipti to get the gift cards to the Kahoot winners. And I was thinking it would be really cool to have a movie night right after the Kahoot. And then this movie would be a movie that was shot on SFU campus. But I talked to SFU with their movie nights, and it's kind of a struggle if the attendees don't have Netflix and you can't use Netflix Party. And then I was thinking maybe we could do a Twitch stream or stream it on Discord, but SFSS doesn't have a Discord server for everybody. And also SFU said doing a Twitch stream might be kind of illegal unless you make it private for SFU students only. But I don't really have any experience with Twitch. So Dipti, you can go ahead.
We can actually use Criterion Movie on Demand. We do have a license for that, and for that, SFU students, they just need to log in with their library ID and password, and they can actually get access to all the movies online. Yeah, so that was one of the things that SFU brought up. Like everybody could log into Criterion and then press play at the same time, and then like have a Facebook group chat. But I feel like that was like you don't always sync up, and it doesn't really feel like you're watching it with somebody. So I thought streaming it somewhere and then having only SFU students be there to watch it would be good, because like you have the feeling of like watching it with somebody at the same time, and then you can type it in the chat and like talk to them about what happened in the movie. So this, oh, that would be great if Twitch streams could be made private. I'd have to talk to our communications coordinator about how to do that. But yeah, this event is kind of larger scale because I'm expecting hopefully 50
30 to 50 attendees. The numbers might drop after the Kahoot, but this is a great event to put on your resume or LinkedIn because it's kind of bigger scale. But me and Dipti will be able to help you with with planning this event, because it's basically just making a Kahoot trivia, setting up the movie, and kind of like being at the event to make sure that everything runs smoothly. So it's actually pretty easy, but it would look amazing on your resume and give you a great experience with event planning. Emma, I will message you after. Yeah. Thanks for, actually, I needed help coming up with like trivia questions for the Kahoot. So it would be awesome if you could help out with that as well. Adrian, you can go ahead.
I was just gonna say I can also help out with the Kahoot portion, because that's what I'm doing right now for that job. Is I'm making like a ton of different Kahoots for like Welcome Day, and a lot of them are like SFU Trivia ones. So I have lots of questions I've been brainstorming already that we can utilize.
That would be awesome. Thanks. I find that actually it's really like the SFU questions should be like kind of obscure. Like, did you know that SFU was going to be called Fraser University, but it would be FU, so they had to change it to Simon Fraser? Like trivia questions like that even current students might not know.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah. Emily, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm interested in supporting as well. I think if we make the Kahoot questions like different for each faculty, so like incorporate facts about each faculty, I think that would be easier to generate more questions as well, instead of just like SFU in general, but like faculty specific.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Actually, I am inviting like all of the mentors and mentees of each faculty. Like I know my faculty has a mentorship program, and if incoming students know they have a mentor that is going, they might be more inclined to come. And that's why I was like, ooh, I'm expecting a bigger attendance because we have all these mentorship programs that might want to come, and then that would make it easier for others to come if they already know someone who's going. So Fiona's also interested. I'll get in touch with everyone later. Yashvir, you can go ahead.
I just had a question. This event is targeted specifically to incoming students, right?
Incoming students, but it's also open to current students.
Okay. I felt if you're planning to hold this event in August, most international students I think get here around the last week of August. So I think you could hold it around that time. Like they get here normally, I think 1 or 2 days before Welcome Day.
I will make note of that. So that's a great insight. Thanks for letting us know.
I'm not sure how it's going to play out exactly this time because of COVID and how much trouble international students are going to have getting into the country. But then we normally get into the country around the last week of August because we don't have a place to stay before that.
Okay, sounds good. I was thinking of making this like an evening type event, but I don't know how that would work with the time difference. But I guess it's something that the planning group can brainstorm and talk about. So if you're interested in being a part of the planning group and like providing insight, just let me know. So the next event is Paint Night with Bob Ross. So Adrian and I were talking about this in an email. I know it's hard for like, we can't provide canvases and paints to students, so they might have to like make do with whatever they have at home. So like pencil crayons. And I kind of suggested using Microsoft Paint and like painting like directly on your computer and like using your mouse, kind of like the Scribblio game where we try to guess what each person is drawing. So I thought that would be really funny if people would try to copy a Bob Ross painting and follow his tutorial, but like on Microsoft Paint. And this is like a really low barrier event. All you'd have to do is like pick a Bob Ross video and then like work with our communications coordinator to market it and promote. So do we have anyone who is interested in helping plan this event? Oh, Adrian, you don't have to say you, but I put your name down, but I wasn't sure, like, are you okay with being a part of this event or? Okay, awesome. I will have your name down for that for sure then. Was anyone interested in helping Adrian plan this? Thanks, Fiona. I will make note of that. So after this meeting, I will send out like an email with all of these August events and then all the people who were listed as being willing to help out. And then maybe we can set up individual meetings or group chats and then or email threads and brainstorm through there. Thanks, Ashvir. Okay. So that's all I had to say for August events. It's really great to see so many of you volunteering to help. Looking at September, we have a lot of cool ideas coming up. So maybe you guys can take a look at the annual plan and kind of start thinking about which events that you might want to help out with. And we can discuss this at a future events committee meeting. It's just always good to plan ahead. Any further discussion for this item, which is August events? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I will move on to 8.3, post-event report template. Okay, so basically this year is going to be a little bit different from last year because I'm making all of you fill out a post-event report. So let me link it in the chat. I sent it a while back. But basically, if you are a part of planning an event, you are responsible for filling out this post-event report. So talk about what went well at the event, what didn't go so well, like any barriers that you had to overcome, any recommendations that you would have for future people who plan this event. So this is super helpful. Like I know it might seem like a lot to fill out, but trust me, it will help you in the future if you're thinking of planning this event again. So that's something to keep in mind if you're signing up to help plan these events, is that you might have to collaborate with other people who are planning the event to fill out this post-event report. Maybe you could assign somebody who's responsible for filling out the majority of the report and then have other people who's helping plan the event check it over. But I'm expecting these reports to be filled out after the event, and then you can send them to me and we can have it on the events committee as kind of like an update as to how the event went. Do we have any questions or further discussion about this? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Oh. Hey, Karishma. Hi, Karishma. Sorry, we were just talking about the post-event report. I'll link it again for you, but I'm glad you could make it. We already approved your regrets, though. But this post-event report, I'm expecting everyone to fill it out after an event. So, Karishma, if you're thinking of doing a dance workshop type thing in September, then you would have to keep in mind that you need to fill out this post-event report with the details about how you planned it and how the event went and things like that. So this will be for every event that we plan this semester. Yeah, so if there's no more questions, I will move on to updates. So financial literacy workshops, post-event report. In the attachments that was sent with the agenda, you can see the financial literacy workshops post-event report that I made. So I was the event lead for this project. I hosted this event, and you can see in my report that I wrote about how it went, some struggles that I had, and my recommendations. So if any of you are interested in hosting another financial workshop with the events committee in the future, you would read over the report and that would give you information about like how I basically ran the event. Do we have any comments? Okay, I will move on to photography workshops update. So I'm sure you all saw the other attachment about like meeting with photography workshop instructor. So originally the workshop was supposed to be in August, but unfortunately he had to delay it to September because of a scheduling conflict. So it won't be in August anymore. But basically, if you recall from previous committee meetings, we passed an honorarium, and I kind of discussed this earlier. But basically, the workshop would be split up into two parts, one for taking photos and one for editing photos, and the photography workshop instructor would teach Photoshop and Lightroom. We just have to delay it, so that was my update for this item. Any questions? Remember, you can just type list in the chat. Then I'll move on. So SFU peak frequency Instagram live concert event debrief. Okay, so another one of these attachments that was sent out with the agenda is this debrief about SFU peak frequency event. So you can scroll through the report and like find out how the event went. Maybe Poom, you want to talk a bit more about how it was planning the event?
I actually was not that involved in planning. Like the planning, my role was I directed peak frequency to Sindhu, and then they planned everything from there. There were some logistics that needed to be ironed out. Like they needed to use the board office because the board office had reliable Wi-Fi. Now, like their house, where the Wi-Fi just randomly disconnected and the stream would end. Getting them set up again with getting the login access and signing out all the forms to make sure they don't destroy the SFS Instagram. But other than that, that was the extent of my involvement with it. In terms of feedback, I actually only received feedback that the event went great, and then that's the end of my feedback. It went good, period. It's like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Oh, Abby, you can go ahead.
I got my ass handed to me in Smash. Like, I didn't get a single, like, kill. I was very upset. Those were some competitive matches, and I got taught my lesson for next time.
Wait, is this for the SFU Anime and Esports Game Fest one?
Oh, sorry, I thought that's what we were talking about.
Oh, no, it was the SFU Peak Frequency one. That one is next.
My bad.
So
My bad.
no worries. But yeah, so the Peak Frequency one, you can just read the report to see, like, oh, some of my recommendations were to market it more because I think we didn't post it on our Instagram. We posted it on our Instagram story, but like it wasn't an actual post. And it would be nice to start marketing it earlier and like push everybody to like know that this event is even happening. So if there's no further discussion on this, I'll just move on to the next update, which is what Abby was talking about, the SFU Anime and Esports Game Fest. You can also see that, well, I sent it out yesterday. There's a post-event report for this one. And you can just read through it. And like Abby said, his ass got handed to him. But yeah, I was really impressed with this event. I wasn't super involved. Maybe Poom and Fiona can talk more about it. Just put your name on the list if you want to speak more about it. But I heard that it was very well attended and a lot of people were super involved. I guess it didn't hurt that there were a lot of amazing prizes, which the prizes are outlined in this post-event report. Actually, let me just link it in the chat. But yeah, I think the event went pretty well. A lot of the students were very engaged. But yeah, do we have any comments? Maybe Poom or Fiona? Fiona, you can go ahead.
About the event, before the event has started, there was some kind of confusion between SFU and Esports in terms of planning for the event. I know FSSS, Poom did helped a bit on it, so his side on the report is written in there. from my side on it, it's just more towards the SFU anime internal planning side. So there was a lot of confusion going on with the event. And overall, the event is perfectly fine. We had a lot of both the server had an increase in terms of members in their Discord server. I guess like the only backlash about the prizes itself is like how they were allocating the prize money towards the tier list. Because like one of the downsides is that the Heroes sponsorship had like $50 for the gift card, while the what's it called? The general raffle draw had 10. So it was just like the amount allocated is just weird, but it's more like an internal side. That's all I can comment.
Thanks for the update, Fiona. Poom, you can go ahead.
Just to clarify, I do not recommend planning an event with 2 clubs at the same time, because one club might have a way of running the event and one club might have another way of running the event. So how is the event going to be run, right? So if working with clubs, I would recommend only working with one at a time.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you for the recommendation. I think that was also on the post-event report, which anyone can read through. So if there's interest in planning some another game type event in the future, you would read through this report and find out like what recommendations we had. Any further thoughts on this event? 3, 2, 1. Okay, I will move on to adjournment. So be it resolved to adjourn the meeting at 1 p.m. Can I get a mover?
I can move, or Abby.
Jen, did you want to take that photo
yeah.
for social media? For the
Oh,
Instagram?
yeah, okay.
I don't know if you want the mask one or the one we talked about with like getting.
We can do both. Let me adjourn the meeting first.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Everyone, thanks for the reminder. I completely forgot. But everyone stay on this meeting after. But yeah, can I get a seconder for adjournment?
Second. I mean, Fiona, sorry.
Thank you, Fiona. All in favor seeking unanimous consent? Okay, motion carries. So the meeting is adjourned. I'll stop the recording, but please stay on the call so we can take a picture.